Hi everyone, this video is about the pineal gland. It's part 2 of a series and we're going to talk again about DMT in another light in association with inner sight or insight. And in last week's video we looked at the main chemicals associated with the pineal gland and their ability to euthanize or assist the body with regeneration. In line with superconsciousness awakening and the sacred secretion. So now let's explore some other characteristics of the pineal gland. The pineal gland consists of pinealocytes, which resemble the photoreceptor cells of our eyes, and is covered by the peel capsule. It's commonly said that the pineal gland is called the third eye because it has a cornea, a lens and retina, just like our outer two eyes. Experts have questioned whether or not there's a retinal display of biophotons or of light hidden in the brain that can only be perceived by the third eye, by the pineal gland. And this would explain the visionary phenomena associated with the inner alchemy or with raising the kundalini and awakening in general, and our inner sight, our epiphanies, our insight or our visionary downloads. Although some mystics and experts prefer what was historically known as the optic thalamus as the third eye. In fact, in the 2nd century, Galen defined the optic thalamus as two oval masses closely associated with the CSF ventricles on either side of the brain. The two oval masses connected by the massa intermedia were designated the optic thalami because they were found to be involved with the processing and projections of visual reality. The optic thalamus is also known as ophthalmos or optimonoi, the eyes of the mind. Thalamus opticus, the Latin form of couche optique, and optic eminence, a mystic synonym. And the holy eye, the eye of providence, and the eye which sleepeth not. And George Carey says that the optic thalamus, meaning light of the chamber, is the inner or third eye situated in the center of the head. It connects the pineal gland and the pituitary body. The optic nerve starts from this single eye. So research still continues regarding where exactly visionary experiences stem from, or are imagined from, or are played from, or are received to. In my view, the third CSF ventricle between the pineal and pituitary and assisted by the massa intermedia, which is known as the reality projector, is the likely crystal ball or visionary pool of the body. What we do know is that when we successfully preserve and raise the sacred secretion, pineal metabolism converts melatonin into DMT and the other biochemicals of enlightenment, which are secreted into CSF at the third ventricle. This naturally syncs the hemispheres of the brain and often produces visionary phenomena. Visual phenomena may also be partly due to DMT because it's a totally pure bioluminescent salt, meaning that it actually has the ability to produce its own light or to glow in the dark. DMT is an endogenous, so self-produced pineal chemical that can be stimulated with right living. So good thoughts, good words, good deeds, or a state of bhakti, and enhanced with spiritual practices such as yoga, meditation, and breath work, and right living in terms of what we're consuming and putting into our body through all of the senses, not just our mouths and our stomachs, but also what information we're receiving through the senses as well. Another thing is that the pineal gland is considered to contain a substance known as acer vuli, which is commonly known as brain sand. And acer vuli are calcified structures that can also appear in the choroid plexus. And research shows that they consist of calcium phosphate, calcium carbonate, which is linked with aging, magnesium phosphate, and ammonium phosphate. Now, calcium carbonate is commonly known as limescale. Just as a shower head or shower door can clearly be seen to become calcified by what we call limescale, the body and pineal can become calcified from acidosis and fluoride. The primary principle for living a long, healthy life is keeping all of the channels within the body free from the coatings of lime. Clean alkalizing foods, organic even more, assist in clarifying the body, which includes optimizing pineal function and subsequently pituitary and thalamic functions. 10 foods for decalcification and promoting a balanced pH are spinach, lemon or lime, kale, avocados, wheatgrass, celery, broccoli, bell peppers, and garlic. A great way to view the best sources of edible energy is by looking at the karmic food pyramid, in which foods are scored by their energetic composition and by physical levels of vitamins and minerals. And that was from The God Design. So in Hinduism, Sikh Dharma, Christian mysticism, and other religions, the third eye is described as a gate to higher consciousness or to inner realms, a space of oneness and non-dualism. In this way, the pineal gland is associated with visions, dreams, clairvoyance, aura observation, precognition, and even out-of-body experiences. And in his book, Sex, Drugs, Einstein, and Elves, author Cliff Pickover says, DMT in the pineal glands of biblical prophets gave God to humanity and let ordinary humans perceive parallel universes. Pickover also says that our brain is like a filter, and that DMT release is like slipping on a pair of infrared goggles, which allow us to perceive light realms and parallel dimensions all around us. He argues that our ancestors would have naturally produced more DMT and were therefore better acquainted with God and the otherwise invisible phenomena of the light realms. It may be that DMT makes us able to perceive what the physicists call dark matter, the 95% of the universe's mass that is known to exist, but that at present remains invisible to our senses and instruments. And that is The Divine Spark by Graham Hancock, another excellent source of information about DMT, the pineal gland, and visionary phenomenon. Pickover also suggested that spontaneous DMT experiences are a possible explanation for alien and UFO communions, saying, DMT can often produce visions of cartoon-like aliens. Those using DMT often claim communication with stick-like elf beings and discarnate entities. Interesting, right? And then we have Rene Descartes, who called the pineal gland the principal seat of the soul, because he believed it was where the mind and body, or where spirit and soul connected. He observed that the pineal is the only part of the brain that exists as a single unit. And since the mind can only have one thought at a time, he argued that the pineal gland must process external stimuli before it reaches the soul, or before it's chemicalized. Almost like the CPU of a computer, does all sensory input have to be processed through the pineal before its secretions are released into the perfectly placed emotional, visual and auditory brain centers that surround it? It's in such a profound location to affect all the different systems of the body. It really could be true that everything comes from the pineal before it has any other effect or consequence within the systems of the body. The sacred secretion practice time is, of course, when the moon is in the individual's sun sign, which we know has an effect on the magnetite crystals of the brain. But according to Magillan, ancient cosmobiologists noted that planetary influences are also mediated by the pineal gland. And this further validates the research shared in previous books and videos that pertain to the power and potential of this time phase. Stimulating pineal metabolism is easily achieved by harmonizing and resynchronizing both hemispheres of the brain. All of the sacred secretion practices encourage this internal harmonization, also known as the alchemical wedding, which happens in the light body on an energetic level as kundalini, as well as in the physical body on a chemical level as the sacred secretion. When the brain's hemispheres are harmonized and resynchronized, it initiates a profound recalibration of the entire organism. This synchronization creates what can be described as a standing wave in consciousness, a coherent and amplified state of awareness that permeates the mind and body. This resonance within the brain can trigger a cascade of synergistic activities, many of which we've explored. As a result, the pineal gland is stimulated to produce and release potent biochemical compounds such as DMT and luciferin. These hallucinogenic compounds have been linked to experiences of heightened consciousness and spiritual insight. In this process, the pineal glands act as more than just a biological organ. It becomes like an attractor or a lightning rod of consciousness. Just as lightning rods draw in electrical energy, the pineal gland seems to draw and amplify consciousness, generating like an illuminative laser beam that pervades the energy of the body. This phenomenon suggests a deep and intricate connection between the pineal gland, consciousness, and the experience of our human reality. One of the most simple and most popular meditation techniques for the third eye simply involves closing the outer eyes and directing the inner gaze toward the pineal gland, towards the center of the brain. This practice shuts off external stimuli and induces the 8 Hertz alpha state, which facilitates the observation of images and insights. And for more on the 8 Hertz alpha state, please watch last week's video if you missed it. So in conclusion, the pineal gland, often referred to as the third eye, plays a crucial role in various spiritual and physiological processes. Through its secretion of chemicals such as DMT and melatonin, the pineal gland is implicated in experiences of higher consciousness, of expanded consciousness, of inner sight or insight and spiritual awakening. However, factors such as calcification due to fluoride and aging and acidosis can hinder its optimal functions. So by adopting practices such as yoga, meditation and breathwork, and consuming alkalizing foods, we can support pineal health and decalcification. This, coupled with the synchronization of brain hemispheres, can lead to profound experiences of the inner alchemy and enlightenment. And furthermore, the pineal gland's association with visionary phenomena, its role in processing sensory input, and its ability to create a resonance of consciousness make it a central component in understanding human existence, spirituality, and the perception of reality. As we continue to explore the mysteries of the pineal gland, we uncover not only the secrets of the mind, body, and soul, but also the profound interconnectedness or oneness of the human experience with the universe. So thank you so much for watching. As always, the links to my books, courses and other resources can be found in the description box below this video. May divine love manifest itself in you all, always and in all ways. Namaste.